Yet again, we have received details of another child that has been murdered by his parents. I mean, I have to say, this channel is, 2 years old? I've lost count now of how many of these I've had to do. The child in question now is 10-month-old little boy. Finley Burden is his name. He was murdered by his parents on Christmas Day in lockdown 2020, just 39 days after social services returned him to the very parents that killed him. And when I say killed him, to be absolutely clear, 71 bruises, 57 fractures, multiple burns, including burns that were delivered by a cigarette lighter. You guessed it, social services were involved with this family. A few weeks ago, you may remember Lola James, aged 2, had 101 injuries that were akin, and I quote, to a high-speed car crash. You guessed it, social services again involved. You may remember Star Hobson, the little 1-year-old, again murdered by those people supposed to love and protect her. You guessed it, social services involved. Philippa Hughes, aged 6, you'll recall that one. Again, murdered by those supposed to love and protect him, and again, social services. Logan Wangi, aged 5. Again, do you see the pattern here? Murdered by those supposed to love and protect him, and you guessed it, again, social services were involved. Now, I am sick and tired, and I say this as a mum, and perhaps I will reflect many decent viewers out there watching and listening. I am sickened, appalled, and deeply saddened by these cases, and I am appalled by the failings of social services and those services that are failing these children. It is not enough to sit there and say, lessons will be learned and we will look on this and make changes. It is not enough. How many more children will be murdered before real changes are put in place? What would those changes be? We need real national conversation about this now. I would argue that actually, if these people, these workers that are supposed to protect children, do not, and those children are murdered, why not look at criminal prosecutions for those people that have failed those children? As for the murderers themselves, I don't even want to call them parents because they're not. They sicken me. They're not good enough to have that name. I would actually look at sterilising them, making sure they can never, ever create children again. What do you think? What is the answer? How on earth do we stop this? How on earth do I manage to sit here and never again have to mention another child that has been killed?